Hey everybody, this is Uncle Grumpy. Welcome to Grumpy's Corner on the Road today. Today we're here with Scott Fetgatter. He's a House member who's been re-elected. Scott, what district is it you're from?
I serve House District 16, which includes Henrietta, Old-Mulgee, Schulter, Morris, Haskell, Boynton, parts of Coweta, parts of Broken Arrow.
So how did the election turn out for you? I mean, I see luckily you're
I'm
back here, so
I'm back.
I guess that's all that matters.
That's all that matters is that I'm back. We had a very tough race, a very competitive race.
Good.
Had a very, very good young man running against me, and he made me work for it.
You should have to earn it.
We had to work for it.
You should have to earn it. I'm glad to see you back.
Well, I appreciate that.
So,
I'm glad to be back.
The joint committee that we worked with last year,
yes.
is that going to be remaining together at all this year? I know you can't unite the Senate and the House, but as far as the members in the House, will you guys be working together this year with those same regulations?
Chris, it's my understanding that we're going to do everything we can in an attempt to continue keeping that committee together to work on the issues going forward. That is my understanding.
Yeah, that would certainly seem smarter than having to
start over.
That's
and
correct. Teach everybody again. I mean, you guys put some serious work into learning a lot about cannabis.
Well,
that should not be discredited. Really, you really did.
We put a lot into it, and I tell people all the time. I've learned more about marijuana, cannabis in the last year of my life than I have the entire previous 49, and I grew up playing in hair bands. So I've had to learn a lot about the industry.
I could see that. You're still wearing it.
I still, it's time to
rebel.
I got to get a cut just here for
the rebel in you, isn't it?
That's it. That's it.
So the unity plan that we all worked on before, we agreed on. I understand from speaking with the floor leader, John Eccles, that has been divided up, and that's going to go through in a few bills. Is that how you understand it too?
So yeah, and before I go there, I just want to let you know that I really appreciate the industry and those that came together to work on that, because I remember the first couple of meetings that we had as the bipartisan,
the joint committee,
whatever you want to call it. I remember those first few meetings, and the tension in the room between the different factions within the industry was thick. And so I want to commend everybody who came together and started to work on that. I think it did the industry good for you all to start communicating better, and then for us to be able to communicate with you. It's my understanding, though, that yes, we will be taking the unity bill and we will be dividing that up into several bills. There will be some language probably that doesn't make a bill at all, and then there'll be other things that may get added. So we'll just have to kind of see as bills are being written up right now and being filed right now because of confidentiality amongst the representatives. I can't tell you what somebody may or may not be filing yet. Once that final language is filed here in the next week or two,
then we'll be 15th, doesn't it?
Yes, then we'll be able to see what all's going to be out there, and then there'll be John, the floor leader, and myself, and the committee will probably have bills that we'll file maybe later on in session.
As to the last session with the joint committee, I do want to commend you. I remember, I think it was the last meeting when you took your time to scold your own party and your own committee for not moving forward with the special session, not getting it done. And I liked the way you did that. It was you definitely stood up for what you walked in there to do originally. You restated that at the end.
Well, and as you know, you and I met last session here in the same office.
Yes, about a year.
And I told you I was not supportive of State Question 788. But once it passed, it was my job then to effectuate the will of the people. And so that's why in those meetings I made everybody mad and I made everybody happy. I mean, I made physicians mad, I made industry people mad.
That's how you know you're doing your job, right?
I do what?
That's how you know you're doing your job, right?
If nobody's mad at you, you don't stand for anything.
Yeah, there you go.
But I didn't have a problem asking or saying things the way I saw them.
Yeah. So I've seen a lot of your posts with some of your constituents in New York County. How's things as far as the cannabis industry? How is that moving forward in your district? What are you seeing?
Yeah, so there's not been a lot of movement in my district. Of course, we have COETA in my district, and the issues that we had early on with the COETA City Council. I believe you were there. But most of the communities in my district are kind of in a sit back, wait and see mode.
Yeah.
I actually had Oklahoma Municipal League come into my district, and we invited all the municipalities in, and actually ended up having several municipalities from around the state come. And the message to them was, in effect, read 788, have your legal counsel read 788, and don't steer from it right now. Let's, just stay within the parameters of what was in the state question.
So do you see, in your opinion, without getting into any details, do you see some municipalities overreaching a little bit, maybe stepping out of bounds some? Like you said yourself, we had some trouble with COETA originally, that they wanted to notify every neighbor within 300 feet, the same policy they have for sex offenders. They backed off of that, but they kept the part where they require the home grow to register. And there's a lot of communities that are doing that. Do you see that as going to be a problem they're going to have to deal with in a little while?
I think it's important to remember this industry is budding. Pun intended.
Your puns.
It's a budding industry. It's a new industry, and you got to remember we have generations of people who were taught that this is a really bad thing. And I was talking to my wife about this last week. It's going to be several generations from now before it's you overcome that stigma from it. So I think it's important to remember that. And municipalities have a specific way they do business when it comes to business coming into their town. And so maybe in their minds they're not overstepping their boundaries, but that's why we have to bring the activists and the municipalities together so that we can, and I think I talked about this back in the meetings, this is a new industry, and we need to, the people obviously wanted it, so we have to embrace the industry. And it's just going to take building relationships with municipalities to do that. I'm not one who feels like I'm for local control, and I believe a municipality and the government of the municipality ought to have the right to do business the way they see fit for their community. With that being said, there are some specific guidelines in 788 that prevent a municipality from maybe doing some things that they might want to otherwise do.
It is a bit of a can of worms, isn't it?
It's a little bit of a can.
Nobody really knows exactly where it should all end up.
That's right.
So I'm waiting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, and I will be working closely over the next month with Oklahoma Municipal League on legislation that they want to see. They have basically they were somewhat involved, I believe, in the Unity Bill process. It's conversations, and so they are currently sending legislation to me that they would like to see, and they've requested from the floor leader that I run their legislation. So I'll be working with them over the next month on what I think we can do or we cannot do.
I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah.
Okay. So what else is going on in the community? Anything big and booming you want to tell us about before we wrap it up?
For me, it's the state of Oklahoma is on a better path than we were 2 years ago. We have a large group of legislators that was just elected. So to put it in perspective, there were over 40 new legislators in the House.
A lot.
And then in my class 2 years ago, there were, I think, 35, 36 of us. So almost 80% of the state House is 2 years or less in government. So I think it's important to understand that, I see the Facebook posts. I see what people say. We're not a bunch of career politicians up here. We're all new.
And it's all term limits in Oklahoma now, too.
It's because of term limits. We have a 12-year term limit.
Yeah.
And so I want to encourage people, get to know your legislators.
Yeah.
And try to develop relationships with them so that they can understand. You and I didn't get off
Right.
our initial meetings were pretty rocky.
Yeah.
In fact, I said some things to you that really upset you, and you said some things that were bothering me too.
It happens.
But we worked through it, and that's what I encourage everybody in the industry, or that is an activist. When you come to the Capitol, talk to your legislators, be respectful, and you know, let them know what your thoughts are, because that's how you get things done.
That's great. Okay, Scott, I want to thank you for coming back on the show, and hopefully I can come up here and you can come on a regular basis.
Anytime.
Maybe once a month or so.
Just
I'm trying to pin it down while we're on camera.
Yeah, just let me know when you're available, and I'll let you know when I'm available.
Okay. All right, folks. That's it for now from the Capitol. It's Uncle Grumpy. Stay grumpy. See you on the road.